If you're somebody that likes diet drinks but you're worried about artificial sweeteners, here's exactly why you shouldn't be. First, we have the recommended safe daily allowance for a £150 person. That's 19 cans, which has a safety factor built into it, so the actual number with no negative effect on animals is around 100 times higher. I can't show you because there's only so much the taxman will let me claim back. Then there are three main substances that aspartame breaks down into: aspartic acid, methanol, and phenylalanine. That one. Here's what else aspartic acid and phenny are found in. And yes, that's chicken breast. I'll use liquids to show you the scale quantities found in a chicken breast versus a drink. Standard diet drink, chicken breast. Finally, while that sweetener is classed as a type 2B carcinogen, so is your phone. So it's less worrying than you might think, and anyone losing their shit in my comments about promoting unhealthy practices, well, you're really a hypocritical shithouse. And for everyone else, I honestly apologise for so many fitness professionals making it feel like you have to worry about every single thing in your daily life. But if you follow me, I'll try to correct that.
Okay, look, this argument has been used by so many people, and making it normal to consume products that are potentially very toxic is not a good idea. I've spent almost 40 years, this January, 40 years, rehabilitating people from every kind of physical, emotional, mental, biochemical illness you can imagine. I've done thousands of lab tests on people, many of which are toxicity tests, environmental toxicity tests, and many of the very kinds of things like aspartame he's talking about, that the research, which happens to be funded by the companies that make this stuff, and the FDA allows the people applying to get approval for these things to do their own research, which is absolutely ridiculous as all hell. So of course you're going to get people believing this stuff, and they make all sorts of arguments like this. But let me tell you something, if you saw what I see clinically, you would look at this and you would go, I can't freaking believe there's more of that shit out there. Let me tell you something, I don't know his background, he's probably got a degree in nutrition or dietetics from a university. Almost every single university nutrition and dietetics program is backed by some major processed food manufacturer. 60% of a doctor's medical education is paid for by drug manufacturers. And there's an old saying, it's hard to change a person's belief when their paycheck depends on it. I could go into a long discussion of aspartame and many of these other chemicals, but I will point a few things out to you. First, there's two books. Any of you that wants to be healthy, I mean even baseline healthy, not fit super healthy. This book right here, A Consumer's Dictionary of Food Additives. I don't know, it's got some 8,000 ingredients, harmful and not harmful. I've referred to this over and over and over again. One of the first things that I was shocked by when I read this book, I kept a record of how many of the ingredients that they add to food were gastrointestinal inflammatory. About 30 to 35% of every ingredient that they put in your food, based on my research, triggers gastrointestinal inflammation, which for those of you that are athletic, when you have gastrointestinal inflammation, it will reflexively inhibit your abdominal wall, which will shut off your core stability and drastically increase the likelihood of spinal injuries and pathologies, and I've seen it over and over and over again. This is the Safe Shopper's Bible, a consumer's guide to non-toxic household products, cosmetics, and food, which has got a lot of great information. This book right here is one that I have read and studied, and I got it because I kept seeing people with things like severe headaches, seizures, problems with cancer and tumors over and over again. And I tracked it right back to ingredients in processed food. Now there's other factors involved, of course, but you have to decrease the physiological load on the body. Well, it might interest you to know that aspartame is listed in here as a neurotoxin by an expert on neurotoxins. So, you know, you go to the index and you see aspartame. It gives you all the information about the research on aspartame and how much of it was done by G.D. Searle, who makes it, and even how shitty the research was, which is not uncommon. Headaches, one of the most common symptoms of aspartame is headaches. Talks all about that in here. Talks about how it triggers seizures. Talks about how it causes tumors to develop. references many animal studies and studies that were done independently, and interestingly, the independent studies show very different results than the ones done by the manufacturers of this stuff. This book goes into the research as well, but just shows that it's bought and paid for by the manufacturer, so it's not even reliable. I mean, it tells you that in there, but if we go in here, Safe Shopper's Bible, avoid beverages containing aspartame. We mentioned earlier long-standing suggested evidence of its carcinogenicity. Furthermore, when heated, such as soft drinks, when stored improperly at high temperatures in warehouses, aspartame breaks down to methanol, which is highly toxic, and formaldehyde, which is carcinogenic. His argument leaning toward that is very weak and does not consider many variables that have to be considered. And just because something is in meat or found in other things does not mean that it's not toxic for you. Doesn't tell you what happens when you cook it in combination with other ingredients. Not to mention the fact that we have a serious problem with people that are nutritionally deficient like crazy worldwide, even wealthy people who don't have enough nutrition on board to run their cytochrome P448 and P50 pathways, which are the pathways that convert toxins that are fat soluble to water soluble, and other toxins in the body water soluble. In general, that's detoxification pathways. But if you don't have the nutrition on board to convert these molecules to safely exclude them from your body, they get stored in the fat in your body, which is a body's means of protecting your internal organs and helping you survive, so it pushes it out. But then when people go on diets and they don't have the nutrition on board, their body is forced to burn that fat. It exposes the body to the toxins, exposes the livers to the toxins. And one of the things you can learn in this and other books is it can cause scarring of the liver, called sclerosis of the liver. Here it talks about both glutamine and aspartate can cause neurons in your brain to become excited, and if given large enough doses, they can cause the cells to degenerate and die. The question is, how much is a large dose? One of these books, the Safe Shopper's Guide and the Food Additives, I think it's the Safe Shopper's Guide, said it should never be used by pregnant women or children under 7. Well, why is that? Why is it dangerous to pregnant women and children under 7? If it's dangerous to them, well, it's probably dangerous to you too. So in a nutshell, I would encourage all of you to at least have these books, the Food Additives Dictionary and the Safe Shopper's Bible. Don't listen to people on the internet, and if they have a college degree, chances are they've been brainwashed. That's standard issue. I mean, you have to look at who pays. Always follow the money. It's very simple. When you want to know how much truth is in something, follow the money, see who's paying for the research. Also see if they're doing it in disguise under shell companies. I've seen this many, many times. The most important thing to do is just ask yourself, what is your body designed to run on? Is it designed to run on artificial sweeteners? No. Remember this rule. I teach some very basic principles of nutrition. If you can't pronounce a word on the label, your liver probably won't like it. Most of the things we're designed to eat in nature are easy to say. Chicken, carrot, tomato, apple, peach, plum, but many of these things, he couldn't even say phenylalanine, right? Now that's an amino acid, but we don't normally eat isolated amino acids. We eat a piece of chicken or beef, which has that in it. But when you're eating something in nature, it's in a combination with other molecules, other types of nutrients that allow them to work together synergistically. But when you start taking stuff in packages like this, that have doses of chemically manufactured stuff that does not normally occur in that form in nature, the body often doesn't know what to do with it. We have to go back to common sense. You're being told by people like this that, oh, don't make a big deal out of it, you know, and I saw another video where a guy says, you're being a fanatic if you do this. No, it's not being a fanatic, it's asking yourself, what is my body designed to run on? And do I want to be a healthy person? And why do you need Diet Coke? I've seen research showing conclusively that it's far safer to drink the non-Diet Coke with all the sugar in it than it is to drink the Diet Coke. I can't tell you how many patients over the years I've had severe headaches that as soon as I knocked diet sodas out of their diet and even let them drink the normal ones with sugar in it, their headaches went away. I could go on for freaking hours on this shit. Seeing videos like this frankly upsets me because I have people coming to me with their kids. I have them coming. I've got professional athletes coming to me. And they're making little mistakes that add up when you do about 50 of them every day to big problems. It's real simple. If it wasn't here 10,000 years ago, you probably weren't designed to eat it. I'm just talking about common sense. If something's called grass, generally regarded as safe, they don't even have to list it on the label, but when you look at what fits under the FDA's grass law, generally regarded as safe, the shit that they put in there would blow your mind if you actually do research on it. I'm just saying, I'm a clinician. I spent almost 40 years working with very sick people, investigating this stuff very deeply, because when people come to see me, they've usually seen a lot of other people and they're not getting help. Take care of yourself, slow down. If you want to be healthy and not spend your money on doctors and therapists and diseases, get a couple of books like this, pay attention to what you're putting in your body. There's no shortcuts out there. Real food, good water, good sleep, have a dream for yourself, spend some time doing things that make you happy, get enough sleep at night, and live and love fully. But if you take shortcuts, you run yourself down, you buy cheap food, you think you're saving money on food and this kind of stuff, you become a statistic. And look what happened with COVID. People with all these comorbidities got zapped. Why? Because they were already sick. They're Humpty Dumpty, ready to fall off the wall. So why fill yourself with a bunch of chemicals when you can home make stuff? There's tons of organic sodas, naturally flavored, that are good for you and won't hurt you, and they're probably just in one aisle over, just 3 steps away. I say this with emotion because I get concerned when I see people being so damn misled. It takes a lot of time and energy to do the research, and unfortunately you cannot trust almost all these university dietetics and nutrition programs because they're bought and paid for hook, line, and sinker. If you want to find a nutritionist, look for a holistic nutritionist like Autumn Smith, for example, founder of Paleo Valley. Then you get real advice. Isn't it interesting too that all the products that are made by real holistic nutritionists would never contain any of this garbage because they're educated, not brainwashed? So out of love and respect for all of you, have the right books at hand. When in doubt, do some research. If it's not good for pregnant women or kids under 7, it's probably not good for anybody. If the research was done by the company that manufactures the product, which is the case with aspartame and most of these things, and it's going to be bullshit research. The fact that the FDA allows them to do that means they've been bought off hook, line, and sinker. I've got multiple books in my library showing how the FDA has been bought and paid for a long time, and certainly the last 3 years have made that dead clear. That's my message to you. Take care of yourself. You can't trust labels anymore. You're being lied to constantly. You're being poisoned through the food supply. I could go on and on and on. Look at my book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. I address most everything you need to know to be healthy and warn you about the things you need to be warned about and give tons of resources. If you have just a couple of good books written by intelligent people to guide you, you'll be a lot better off in the world. And be very careful who you listen to on the internet. Check out my education. Look for my program, Holistic Lifestyle Coach Level 1, which is my public access program. Teaches you all the things you need to know to be a healthy, fit person. Look, I'm 62 years old. I'm still strong enough and fast enough to work the shit out of 25-year-old professional athletes. Why? Because I don't live as a fanatic. I just pay attention to what my body wants. I eat real food, drink real water, do things that are happy making, get enough sleep to let my body regenerate, use natural therapies like saunas, cold plunges. That's all it takes is common sense. Unfortunately, it's just not so common. So I hope this has left you more educated. Food Additives Dictionary, Safe Shopper's Bible, Epstein. And if you want to know the deeper truth about all this stuff so you don't get fooled by videos like this, here's a great book that has lots on aspartame for you. Excitotoxins, The Taste That Kills by Russell L. Blaylock, MD. There you go. Have a great day.